Black Panther is one of the most powerful and influential superheroes in Marvel Comics' wheelhouse, and across the multiverse there are some variants of him that are even more powerful than his main continuity self. King Azuri is T'Challa's grandfather. He is the father of T'Chaka, who ruled Wakanda during World War II. Before T'Chaka was Black Panther, Azuri was. He was rumored to be a brutal man who basically beheaded anyone who trespassed into Wakanda and possibly hunted outsiders for sport, displaying their heads on spikes. In reality, although he was pretty harsh and had no qualms with killing and beheading those who refused to leave at his behest, he was not completely unreasonable and would only seemingly attack those who actually refused to leave Wakanda. So he wouldn't just straight up kill people usually, he'd just be like, hey, could you get out? If they didn't get out, he's like, well, okay, guess I'm gonna behead you, I guess. When Captain America came to Wakanda, Azuri asked him to leave, and when he refused, they fought. However, it was through this meeting that Azuri would gain some tolerance and respect for outsiders in his land, believing that Captain America could actually be a really good symbol for the US, like Black Panther was for Wakanda. Azuri has powers similar to the Black Panthers who had come before and after him, but was well known for his ruthless nature, having no problems with killing his opponents when he needed to. Number 9. Ultimate Black Panther. In this reality, T'Challa was the younger brother of M'Baku, who was meant to become Black Panther and King instead. Jealous and overconfident, T'Challa decided to take part in the Panther ritual ahead of his time, before M'Baku did. The dangerous trial involved hunting and defeating a Black Panther, and as a result of attempting it, T'Challa was maimed with his throat actually ripped out. The king was worried about losing his son and was forced to reach out to the US for help. They were able to save T'Challa, but Nick Fury also forcibly recruited him into S.H.I.E.L.D., refusing to release him back to Wakanda and his father. And although this sounds really harsh, apparently Fury did believe that it was because, T'Chaka maybe was behind the fact that his son got so injured. Initially, T'Challa was not super gifted when it came to combat, but after training with Captain America, he proved to actually be a really great fighter. This version of T'Challa does not speak as his vocal cords were severely damaged in the Panther attack, or completely gone. Actually, I think they're completely gone. I feel like if your throat's ripped out, vocal cords probably don't exist. And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you are loving this list and you want more lists like it, be sure to show your love for Black Panther in the comments below. Number 8. Killmonger. For a short while in the comics, Killmonger took up the mantle of Black Panther. He did so after defeating T'Challa in ritual combat. Pretty impressive considering that T'Challa would still have been Black Panther at this point, and unlike the film version of this fight, didn't actually have to depower himself in order to fight Killmonger in issue 20 of the 1998 Black Panther series, considered volume 3 overall. Although they do have to fight for a long while, even needing to both take breaks, which seems to have a toll on Black Panther's normally heightened senses, and is probably why he lost this fight. Killmonger may have not had the heart-shaped herb, which he did not ingest before adopting the mantle, but he is known for being a brilliant mind in the comics, super strong, and basically a genius inventor. He made plays to try and maintain his power, even trying to get in with the Avengers as T'Challa had previously done, but eventually did himself in by trying to ingest the heart-shaped herb. Due to the fact that in the comics N'Jadaka is not related to T'Challa by blood, the herb poisoned him as he didn't have royal blood in his veins, and he actually ended up in a coma as a result. So it didn't work out well in the end, but he was still able to be a Black Panther, which I think is pretty nuts. Number 7. Shuri. Shuri is actually Black Panther's sister, and I gotta say, I love her as Black Panther. Shuri actually always wanted to be Black Panther ever since she was a young girl. At one point, her brother T'Challa agrees to train Shuri to help her prepare for becoming Black Panther should that day ever come. And come it did, so I guess it's good they did that training. Black Panther at one point becomes the king of the underworld, ruling alongside Bast, and in his place, Shuri is crowned queen, and also takes up the mantle of Black Panther. Like her brother, Shuri is exceptionally smart, strong, and is also a skilled fighter. Number 6. Cole Tiger. T'Chaka II is the son of T'Challa from the MC2 alternate Earth/future. T'Chaka is named after his grandfather, T'Challa's father, which is also why he's the second of that name. T'Chaka can transform into a panther-like human hybrid and goes by the name of Cole Tiger in this universe. In his animal-like form, he is considered even more powerful in terms of his strength, speed, agility, and senses. We don't know who his mother is in this universe, I don't think, but MC2 is a universe filled with heroes' kids who grow up and basically become supers in their own right, such as Spider-Woman aka May Parker, who also hails from MC2 or Earth 982 and is the daughter of Spider-Man and Mary Jane Watson Parker. And it's also pretty much the reason why we have that universe, which is a cool one, so Yay. Number 5. Earth X Black Panther. On Earth X, Black Panther is the one who guards the Cosmic Cube, being noble and powerful enough to be entrusted with such a valuable item of power. Captain America gave him the Cosmic Cube to guard, believing that T'Challa would protect it, even from Captain America himself, if he had to. On Earth 9997, T'Challa would also end up married to Storm, aka Aurora Monroe, and when the Terrigen Mists caused the world to mutate, he would become more panther-like in appearance. Likewise, the animals in Wakanda would also mutate, and they would actually become more humanoid in appearance. T'Challa from then on referred to them as the Annie-Men, and also believed them to be kind of a manifestation or a symbol of Wakandan gods as well. Black Panther on Earth X, thanks to his further mutation, is actually believed to be even more powerful possibly than his main continuity counterpart. Number 4. MCU Black Panther. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Black Panther was played by Chadwick Boseman up until his untimely death in 2020. While the future of the character remains uncertain in the MCU, what we do know is that with Boseman in the role, T'Challa as Black Panther in the MCU proved to be one of the greatest heroes out there. We saw both his capacity to be an inspirational hero who also listened to those around him, with Nakia helping him to see the benefits of revealing Wakanda's true wealth and power to the world so they could actually help others the world over with their knowledge and their technology. Black Panther also proved himself as a hero, defeating M'Baku when challenged for the throne, and later Killmonger his cousin, with T'Challa trying his hardest to convince Eric to surrender, not wanting to have to hurt a member of his own family, who T'Challa even felt in the end had pretty much been abandoned by his people. He really actually didn't want to fight Eric. He was like, I mean, I guess if we gotta do this, guess we gotta fight. Aside from that, along with the Avengers, Black Panther fought against Thanos twice and in the end won, saving the Earth from his tyrannical tirades. Number 3. Ghost Panther. Ghost Panther is a version of the hero who also boasted of the powers of Ghost Rider. He hails from the Infinity Warp reality, which was created when Gamora folded the universe in half using the Infinity Stones. This caused souls in that reality to merge together, creating amalgamated heroes and villains, which also included Ghost Panther. Ghost Panther is T'Challa, who also at one point used the stage name of Johnny Blaze as a stunt motorcycle rider. He has the combined powers of Ghost Rider and Black Panther. Instead of riding a flaming motorcycle though, while in his ghostly form, he rides a flaming giant Black Panther, which is pretty cool. Number 2. 1 million BC. This Black Panther is actually believed to be the first to have ever existed. He belonged to the Panther tribe and was the one to discover the valuable vibranium meteor, which would later grant the nation of Wakanda their strength via technology. This Black Panther belonged to what is believed to be the first ever Avengers team, the Stone Age Avengers, or the 1 million BC Avengers as they are sometimes known. Other than Odin, this Black Panther was the first person to wield Mjolnir, being declared worthy by the hammer and therefore able to do so, which is also pretty crazy. Number 1. Star-Lord. In the Disney Plus animated series What If, we got our own alternate version of Black Panther featured as a main character, also featuring Chadwick Boseman's final MCU performance in the episode where he voiced T'Challa for the last time. Here, T'Challa has a different fate. Instead of remaining in Wakanda and eventually becoming king and Black Panther, he is abducted by the Ravagers, with Yondu believing he is the son of Ego that he was sent to Terra, aka Earth, to retrieve. It turns out that Yondu was kind of wrong about that, but aside from that, Yondu also becomes quite attached to this kid. T'Challa joins the Ravagers, excited to explore the cosmos with them, and ends up becoming Star-Lord, a character who is insanely powerful and who basically defeated Thanos with like a simple conversation, convincing him that what he was doing was pretty much wrong. So no snap in this universe. Instead, Thanos ends up actually as Star-Lord's ally, crewmate, and friend, which is also pretty cool. Number 10. Kasper Cole. Kasper Cole is now known as the White Tiger, but initially we knew him as an alternate version of Black Panther in the 616 reality. Kasper Cole was created by Christopher Priest and Dan Fraga, and first appeared in the 1998 series of Black Panther in issue 50. Kevin Kasper Cole was a police officer who was itching to get a promotion and decided to start wearing a Black Panther suit he'd come across while working the beat in hopes that it would give him the edge that he needed needed to win said promotion. Instead, it only helped to bring him into the direct line of fire by his crooked lieutenant, Sal, who aimed to have him killed. Fortunately, the suit protected Kasper and saved his life. He was fired from the force but would continue to operate as the vigilante Black Panther in NYC, working to take down his crooked lieutenant. Kasper would be given a synthetic version of the heart-shaped herb, which grants him his superpowered Black Panther-like abilities, and he also possesses, of course, all his training and skills learned from his job as an officer. Number 9. Earth 11080 Shuri. This alternate version of Shuri also becomes known as Black Panther. She first appears in Marvel Universe vs. The Punisher issue number 1 and hails from the alternate reality where a viral outbreak turns the world's inhabitants into feral, mindless cannibals. Sort of mindless. Kinda like zombies, but not zombies, because we already have an alternate Earth for that in Marvel, Earth Z, or Earth Z if you will. Although Shuri's fate remains unknown in this reality, what we do know is that while she was around, the feats that she seemingly accomplished trying to protect the uninfected and scientists searching for a cure were pretty impressive. It's unconfirmed that the Punisher kills Shuri, though it is left slightly implied in issue number 4. You get like a flashback and he's like looking at her while she's killing Bartrock, and it's like, he might be coming for her next, I don't know. And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you are loving this list, if you want more Black Panther lists, I want to make more for you, please be sure to let us know by giving this video a thumbs up. Number 8. Ultimate Black Panther. Ultimate Black Panther kind of got a weird story in comparison to the main continuity version, but this was a world where we were trying to push the envelope and try new things. So I guess this is what happened. And they definitely did that with T'Challa. Well, T'Challa is a king who is known for both his strength and his wisdom, often using his words and speeches to help his people, and currently the Avengers diplomatically in the main continuity. In the reality of Earth 1610, T'Challa instead lost the ability to speak when he fought a panther in order to prove himself, and ended up having his vocal cords badly damaged and pretty much ripped out. His father made a deal with Weapon X in the US to fix his son after he was severely injured in that panther fight. They fixed him up and also gave him new abilities, including an improved healing factor and adamantium claws, but he would not regain his ability to speak. He would also receive training from Captain America. However, T'Challa would also kind of become a prisoner in the US when Fury claimed that because they had fixed him, they got to keep him and basically use him as their hero. I don't think that's how that works, but I guess if Nick Fury is saying he can do it, it's gonna happen, so yeah. Do not mess with Ultimate Universe Nick Fury. Number 7. T'Chaka. T'Chaka is the father of T'Challa and was Black Panther before him. While he might not be quite as much of a genius as his son T'Challa or his daughter Shuri, T'Chaka still has a brilliant mind when it comes to tactics, diplomacy, and leadership. Like the Black Panthers who would come after and who came before him, T'Chaka had also ingested the heart-shaped herb, which granted him his superpowered abilities, including super strength and super speed. T'Chaka was also in peak physical condition and was an extremely experienced and skilled martial artist. Number 6. T'Chaka 2. Or T'Chaka II. This version of Black Panther comes to us from the Exiles Volume 2 out of 2009. He made his first appearance in issue number 1 of that series. T'Chaka II was named after his grandfather and is the all-powerful son of Storm and Black Panther from the alternate Earth of 1119. We haven't seen too much of him in the comics, but it's safe to assume he has the powers of Black Panther despite him going by the alias of just Panther. And he's likely an all-around formidable fighter and leader, being the son of two very powerful heroes. He also packs a mean Wakandan nerve pinch. Gotta love that. T'Chaka II was created by Jeff Parker and Salvador Espin. Number 5. Queen Shuri. Shuri would go on to become the Queen and the Black Panther after T'Challa slipped into a coma in the main reality of Earth 616. Shuri has always wanted to become a fierce warrior ever since she was a child, and she is prepared to take on that role. Not only did she prove to be a great warrior, but she was a strong leader who refused to lay down arms in the war against Atlantis, just as her brother had before her. Shuri not only has the power of the heart-shaped herb, but her soul would travel to the Djalia, and there she would receive extra training, and when she returned to her body, have extra abilities and powers as a result. So not only does Shuri have all the skills she developed herself growing up, but she also now can turn into a bird or birds, possesses a rock form, and can travel to the Djalia plane and even reanimate the dead. So pretty powerful. Number 4. Ngozi. Ngozi comes to us from the alternate reality where after getting in the midst of a superpowered fight, she ends up becoming imbued with the powers of Venom and of Black Panther. She was originally a Nigerian track star who was left unable to walk after a severe bus accident. When Venom was fleeing from Rhino and then went on to kill Black Panther, the symbiote ended up finding her and bonding to Ngozi. Brave Ngozi was able to convince the symbiote to help her in defeating Rhino, and the Dora Milaje were so impressed by this show of strength and bravery that she was appointed as the new Black Panther. Number 3. MCU T'Challa. T'Challa in the cinematic universe was an extremely skilled warrior, but also should be well known for his perseverance in the face of insurmountable odds and his sense of honor. These are the main things that I think made him so strong and made him stand out as a ruler. But also, that impact suit though. The suit of course was a gift from Shuri in the MCU, so in a way it also just goes to show how strong the whole Black Panther family unit is there. While they don't touch on it as much in the MCU, it's also believed that T'Challa still has the genius level intellect that he is well known for in the comics, and that he is a master strategist and tactician, which would make sense considering he's likely been trained since birth for his role as ruler and as Black Panther. Number 2. Ghost Panther. This alternate version of Black Panther comes to us from the Warp World reality. As with all the creations on Warp World, he is a combination of two souls, two characters, Ghost Rider and Black Panther. Warp World was created when Gamora used the power of the Infinity Stones to fold the universe in half, merging together everything within it, so we got these sweet combination characters. I love it. T'Challa here possesses the powers of both of these heroes. He was a Wakandan prince who was exiled for his arrogance, and ended up becoming a motorcycle stuntman, taking up the show name Johnny Blaze. When an accident left him close to death, he was made an offer by Zarathos, great power in exchange for becoming her servant. T'Challa refused, but would later accept Zarathos' offer under different circumstances after learning his father had been murdered. Number 1. Killmonger. While T'Challa is an amazing ruler, has a brilliant mind, and is an impressive, unstoppable fighting force, Eric Killmonger from the comics has received a lot of power-ups over the last few years that would probably put him above MCU T'Challa, I would say. Eric has ingested the heart-shaped herb and lived to tell the tale despite not being of the Royal Panther tribe bloodline and basically being put into a coma because of that. He's also gone to outer space, ruled the intergalactic empire of Wakanda as Emperor Killmonger, been resurrected, and been given even more strength, and also is bonded with a symbiote of Clintar. He is the definition of an overpowered villain.
Kicking off the list at number 10, we have Venom. That's Venom with 2 M's, not to be confused with the other guy. Venom, aka Horatio Walters, had a regular life until he made his first appearance in Jungle Action Volume 2, Issue 6, when Brandon Morgan, a not so pleasant fellow, threw acid in Horatio's face during a chemistry class. Yeah, eyewash stations will not help you at that point, I don't think, but still try it. Definitely spray your eyeballs out, wouldn't hurt. His life of course was changed forever as his appearance, but he grew a bond with snakes after that point. He felt like they were both treated the same. Horatio is a Slytherin, confirmed. He spent years becoming an expert snake handler, even becoming immune to most snake venoms. This guy would basically summon snakes and huck them at you. That's a terrifying villain, worthy enough to start this list off. And before we continue with this crazy list of Black Panther villains, if you want to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, no pressure, but please do it. It helps us out quite a bit. And also subscribe if you're already here. No pressure. Number 9. Baron Zemo. Baron Helmut Zemo is a former colonel of the Sokovian Armed Forces, and after the Avengers tore up Sokovia doing their Avenger Blasty Blast IMAX 3D stuff, he was hungry to get payback on Earth's mightiest for killing his family during the time there. He became a criminal mastermind. One of the earliest attacks on the team was framing Bucky Barnes for the murder of King T'Chaka. He was behind everything during Civil War. He actually succeeded quite well. As Steve and Tony were scrapping it out over the death of Tony's parents and Bucky being responsible for the whole spiel, the Black Panther T'Challa approached Zemo, reminded him that the living are not yet done with him, and had him locked up in the raft. Bam, you're going downtown, punk. In the comics, Zemo was the second Black Panther villain that ever went head to head with him, with Eric Killmonger of course being first, which we talked about in part 1, which you must check out after this. See, friendly reminder, we'll do it. Number 8. Nakia Shaku. Making her first appearance in Black Panther Volume 3, Issue 1, Nakia started out just like the rest of us, a fan of Black Panther. I mean, we get tickets to a midnight screening, you know, maybe throw a shirt on, get loud, clap in the theater. Nakia, on the other hand, well, she was literally obsessed. So much so that she drowned herself just so Black Panther would show up and save her life. So she's desperate, a little bit, I don't know, I'll say it, she's desperate. She would fantasize about marrying him openly to the public. She was once part of the Dora Milaje, one of the king's most fierce bodyguards, but her jealousy took over her eventually, and she attempted to kill the king's former lover. Jealousy, turning snakes into the sea. Maybe that other snake guy can come in and they could do like a whole... We connect the dots here, we got it. Now this obviously got her into some hot water and she was banished by Black Panther back to her home village. Sad days for sure, but it only gets worse for Nakia, because when she made a run for it and fled to her home, Nakia was found tortured and left for death from another Black Panther villain, Achebe, who I mentioned in part 1 as well. After that point, Nakia was resurrected and given a handy power upgrade from Eric Killmonger, where she would then go by the alias Malice. Number 7. Salamander K'Rule. Salamander made his first appearance in Jungle Action Volume 2, Issue 15. He was one of the Wakandan agents working alongside Eric Killmonger in his first attempt to overthrow the king. I think we'll get this villain in some capacity soon. His main weapon is a bow and arrow. It looks pretty cool. Oh, explosive bow and arrows, that is. Similarly to Wolverine and his adamantium-infused bones, Salamander is a vibranium mutate, whose body is covered in these horrible blisters which have toxin-covered razor-sharp pins that poke through and squirt and get all over your nice shirt. Vibranium is literally flowing through him, so he can certainly hold up on his own during hand-to-hand combat. This guy throws vibranium thorns. I wouldn't get remotely close to Salamander K'Rule ever. Number 6. Nighthawk. Tilda Johnson made her first appearance in Captain America 164. As a child, Tilda knew she was a genius. She acted like a crazy normal kid to try and blend in, but really she had extensive genetics, cybernetics, and physics down when she was just 16. All that knowledge in that little brain. She turned to crime because she thought that was the fastest way to get out. She wasn't having an ideal living scenario. When she was 18, Yellowclaw met her and helped her develop an alias called Deadly Nightshade. And in Black Panther Volume 2, Issue 16, Nightshade teamed up with other villains to attack Black Panther. Number 5. Frederick Kyber. Making his first appearance in Black Panther issue 11, aka Kyber the Cruel, he was once not so cruel, really. He was rather just a scientist who was obsessed with teleportation. He disappeared, ironically, he disappeared from all of his friends and family, and he just took off for the mountains near the South Atlantic Ocean. He was out of there. He was assisted by numerous androids because supervillains, you know? The island became known as Kyber Island, and Frederick was 30, flirty, and thriving all by his lonesome. That is until he was involved in an accident that changed his life forever. What? That never happens to any of these guys. What happened? The matter transmitter bonded Frederick's body to the lab's floor. Yeah, he became one with the room in a disgusting Jumanji type way, just half his face coming out of the ground. He became a humanoid shaped protoplasm. He also hungered for immortality and needed to absorb the consciousness of others. Great. Kyber kidnapped Black Panther's cousin Kanata in order to get the king's attention, and what do you know, it worked, and when he showed up, the androids got him and then teleported him back to Kyber's lair. Black Panther figured out where Kyber was in the ground and then stepped on him. No, he didn't. Basically, kind of. He grabbed Kanata's life energy that was stored in an energy globe and then just left Kyber to starve because he has no souls to suck. Number 4. Princess Xanda. Not Princess Zelda. Once the ruler of Nairobia and a member of the Collectors, Xanda first appeared in Black Panther issue 1 and came into conflict with T'Challa over a pair of mystical brass frogs. You know those classic arguments about those mystical brass frogs? Are they frogs? Nice. She held them as prisoner afterwards and blackmailed him to help her find more precious artifacts. She was obsessed. She was even threatening to bomb Wakanda if he refused. So Black Panther of course helped one of the Collectors, Abner Little, find this water skin. It grants eternal life, all that cool jazz. Pretty sweet find if you ask me. But when T'Challa was marrying Storm later in the comics, she got so jealous she came to New York and started spending crazy amounts of money, just hucking usher bucks all around town, just telling everybody that she's actually marrying T'Challa, which is a hot-faced lie, or a hot bull-faced lie. Is a bull-faced frog lie? I don't know. Storm literally came in and blew her away. She was like, nope, problem solved. Not on my wedding day. Bye. Number 3. Wind Eagle. Hector Santiago Ruin came around in Jungle Action Volume 2 back in 1976, issue 24. He had a rough childhood, as most of these guys do, and in turn he became a criminal. He joined a gang and would rob places just to get by. I mean, all these guys do this, like, just get a job, I don't know, work at Blockbuster for like 6 months, I don't know, meet some people, shake some hands, just try something else. He eventually got locked up, earned the ranking of model prisoner, so he was being good, he was on the good up and ups. He got on parole, but then he was found by the Dragon Circle and then things went back in the danger zone. They had used this Wakandan technology that was used in the Falcon suit, so they wanted their own badass version to go against him, and now we have Wind Eagle in a cool suit. So when Black Panther was investigating the death of Angela Lin, he was poking around the Dragon Circle, and that's when Wind Eagle attacked for the first time. This suit is pretty fancy. It allows for Hector to glide on wind currents thanks to the whole anti-gravity tech, and sleep gas would also come out of his wrists, but he would only use them to prevent others to get involved in a fight. He's a fair fighter, I kind of respect that. Okay. Number 2, Namor. He made his first appearance in Motion Picture Funnies Weekly issue 1 back in the late 30s. He's the king of the sea, and he's the king of Wakanda, so naturally there's going to be some sort of disagreements in the comics, both as Avengers and individual leaders. Wakanda and Atlantis have went to war multiple times, but why? Well, one of the bigger moments in comics was for sure during X-Men and Avengers, where both teams wanted to control the Phoenix Force. The Avengers saw danger in it, while the X-Men, on the other hand, believed that this Phoenix Force is the savior of mutant kind. The Phoenix Force ended up possessing Namor for a hot minute, and meanwhile the Avengers retreated to Wakanda to lick their wounds and figure out a plan. Namor found that Wakanda was holding all these Avengers, and then it leads to a full-on invasion. Super action-packed, great time. Where's Namor in the MCU? Can we bring him in? I feel like we should definitely bring him in, like, now. He should already be there. I don't know. Take your time though, it's good. They're doing alright. And finally, number 1, Dr. Doom. Victor Von Doom, he is on the naughty list for pretty much every superhero for different reasons, and Black Panther is no different. Let's talk about him. Supreme leader for the Kingdom of Latveria, one of the most brilliant minds on the planet, and also one of the most powerful sorcerers. In Black Panther Volume 4, Issue 19, Victor showcases how well he's trained in combat. Doom's suit was depowered, but that didn't get in the way at all. He was able to beat T'Challa in hand-to-hand combat. That's nuts. All that training in Tibet sure came in handy. Even as a leader, Doom is a formidable villain. He once launched a full-on invasion upon Wakanda to get his hands on vibranium. The guy will do anything for power. Number 10, King Cadaver. We kicked this list off with one of the earliest villains in the comics, making his first steps in Jungle Action issue 10. King Cadaver was this bug-eyed dude created by radiation exposure. He could control your mind and cause a great amount of physical pain at the same time. Now, he didn't get up to much in the comics until recently in Black Panther 2019, issue 1. King Cadaver returned, but he was a little cooler this time around. There was this new CEO in town going by the name of Mr. Kazaji. Wakanda found a new chief of mining and operations were running smoothly. Better than ever, actually. He quadrupled the production of vibranium by using these proton excavators. Now, it started off great until these natural disasters began to occur. And then Mr. Kachazi kidnapped Queen Mother Ramonda as hostage, and his true self was revealed. And after a beatdown from Black Panther, King Cadaver still managed to somehow escape. Number 9, Man-Ape. AKA M'Baku, Man-Ape is one of the most powerful individuals in Wakanda. His super strength comes from a magical ritual of transference with the sacred white gorilla. Now he's able to easily bench press 2 tons. Winston Duke also brought the character M'Baku to life in 2018's Black Panther as well. But M'Baku made his first appearance in Avengers issue 62. He was born and raised in the Jabari village in Wakanda. The Black Panther outlawed the rival white gorilla cult from Wakanda, and the Panther cult was now the dominant one. So M'Baku killed one of the rare white gorillas living in the jungles near their home, and if that wasn't bad enough, he continued to bathe in the gorilla's blood, and then he ate the flesh, which in turn conferred its strength upon M'Baku. Now, when Black Panther returned from assisting the Avengers, this dude was now running the show. Going by Man-Ape, he gladly challenged T'Chaka for his right to rule. His goal was to get rid of these technological advances and go back to the primal ways. Man-Ape joined the 7th incarnation of the Masters of Evil, gathered by the Crimson Cowl Justine Hammer, and in Black Panther Volume 5, Issue 4, Man-Ape was murdered after he got the life sucked out of him by Morlun. But he later returned from the dead in Black Panther Long Live the King, Issue 3, thanks to Baron Macabre and a good old ritual. Number 8. Okay, so about that guy who sucked the life out of Man-Ape, what's that about? Let's talk about him for a bit. Morlun made his shadowy debut in Amazing Spider-Man Volume 2, Issue 30. He actually once ripped Peter's eyeball out and then ate it. He's been alive for centuries. Now, things get heated when the crocodile cult resurrected Morlun in order to devour the Black Panther totem to weaken Wakanda. Because if you can't beat him, just eat them. Okay. So Morlun started with Mane, but was defeated by the new Black Panther, Shuri, who I'm hoping also takes over on the big screen. Morlun wasn't just defeated by Shuri, but with the help of a witch doctor, she was able to send Morlun into limbo, where he would then just fight these giant hordes of death, literal death. Number 7, T'Challa. We shipped over to an alternate reality, Earth 2301 that is, where the sister of T'Challa was brutally beaten by her brother when it came to the succession of the throne. She was hurt, physically and now emotionally, so much so that she left Wakanda. She left her home in hopes of finding a new magical power to master so that she could defeat her brother. Now she found that magical power in the land of Latveria, where she took a master class or two from its ruler, Dr. Victor Von Doom. She trained under him but held back the entire time on purpose. She wanted to wait until the right moment, and then she took him out, stole his armor, and assumed the mantle of ruler of Latveria. Now this version of Doom is extremely powerful. She carries with her a double-edged broadsword as a primary weapon that channels her power. Pretty badass. Number 6, Reverend Akebe. He made his first appearance in Black Panther Volume 3, Issue 3. It was a rather tragic start for this guy. Reverend Akebe was once a peaceful farmer living with his family in Gudaza. Now things took a horrible turn when rebel guerrillas from the country Ujanka were forced onto his farm. The guerrillas took his wife, stabbed him over 30 times, and then just left him for death. Akebe was driven mad. He needed revenge at this point. His entire life was just shattered, so he resorted to the lowest form of revenge. Literally, he made a deal with the devil, Mephisto, who at this point was craving Black Panther's soul, so it all kind of worked out well. Akebe ended up in charge of Wakanda when T'Challa was taken into Mephisto's realm in Black Panther Volume 3, and Ramonda, Black Panther's stepmother, was actually on board with this entire operation. The two of them wanted to run the show upstairs, so they forced T'Challa to return to the United States. Akebe is extremely gifted when it comes to ventriloquism, believe it or not. A ventriloquist who deals with the devil. What could go wrong? Number 5, White Wolf. In the after credit scene for Black Panther, we saw Bucky Barnes awaken, and this time around, he wasn't in punch mode. He was healed up, given a new vibranium upgrade of an arm, and was referred to as the White Wolf. But he made his first debut in Black Panther Volume 3, Issue 4 in the late 90s. White Wolf wasn't from Wakanda initially. He actually arrived being the sole survivor of a plane crash near Wakanda, so they adopted the young boy named Hunter. Now he was raised as the adoptive brother of Black Panther, only he wasn't next in line, so he got a little jealous, more than fair, as one would. So Hunter did the best he could in assisting Wakanda, until eventually he was appointed as leader of the Wakandan secret police, the Hatut Zeraze. With this he received vibranium microwave mesh, so bullets aren't exactly a concern anymore. Cloaking technology helps sneak around behind the king's back, and energy dampening boots allow the White Wolf to run across water or land on his feet after falling from high above. Like a cat. He was soon known as White Wolf, but when T'Challa took over as king after T'Chaka's assassination, he disbanded the brutal Hatut Zeraze, so all these mercenaries and the White Wolf needed a place to go. They needed a purpose, and most of all, they wanted revenge on the man who exiled them in the first place, Black Panther. Number 4, Ulysses Claw. Played by the wonderful Andy Serkis in the MCU, also a villain we need more of, Ulysses Claw made his first debut in Fantastic Four issue 53. He's the son of war criminal Colonel Fritz Claw, and after the war he moved back to Belgium, changed his name to Claw with a W, a little cooler, and he raised his son, telling him stories of Wakanda. That son grew up and became a physicist working in the field of applied sonics at the Technical University at Delft. He figured out how to convert sound waves into a physical mass, but the missing key component to do so lied within Wakanda's vibranium. So he and a group of mercenaries bought intel from Hydra, broke into Wakanda to cause some chaos. Claw attempted to kill both King T'Chaka and his son T'Challa, but the king used his body as a shield to guard the young boy. His right arm didn't make it out alive, but that's when his brain came to save the day. He got an arm upgrade as we saw in the MCU, but in the comics he ended up trapped inside of it at one point. He was transformed into literal sound. So never say never with Claw returning to the MCU. Number 3, Tatu. Initially a student at the Wakandan Academy, Tatu joined Marvel Comics with Black Panther Volume 6. He left in search for knowledge beyond the physical realm, and sometimes that gets you in a little bit of a pickle. He laid low in the Wakandan wilderness, and when he returned he had the ability to manipulate nature. While abroad, Tatu gathered a group of rebels called the People and worked alongside Zenzi and the Nagandan army in hopes to one day overthrow the Black Panther. Tatu's powers are beyond just controlling plants. In Black Panther Volume 7, Issue 19, Tatu demonstrated the ability to open portals from the past and present to transport people through space and time. He also wears 2 spiked wooden rings on his shoulders, being made of natural resources. He can make the spikes grow in length and attack people. A one-on-one with Groot would get pretty messy, I imagine. Number 2, Zenzi. Making her first appearance in Black Panther Volume 6, Issue 1, Zenzi can enhance and bring to light people's deepest emotions. She can change your whole agenda up just like that. Like in Issue 2 of Volume 6, Zenzi is about to be killed by Killmonger's troops, but instead she made them attack each other and wipe each other out, which is great. She quickly became the leader of the Ugandan army, where she allied herself with Tetu, head of the people, like I just talked about. She would use her abilities to start riots, and when Black Panther knocked her into a coma, she still didn't give up the fight days later when she woke up. Not even a coma can keep Zenzi down. How amazing is that? I would hate to mess with an empathic manipulator. I don't want people to read my mind or see my emotions deep down. Leave my inner monologues alone. You have your tough guy voice on, and then all of a sudden you're singing show tunes and releasing prisoners. What a power. And finally, number 1. Killmonger. Eric Killmonger, played by the wickedly talented Michael B. Jordan in Marvel Studios' Black Panther, is one of the best villains in the MCU thus far. I'm really hoping we get him back somehow in the sequel. I think he's rumored to actually take over as Black Panther, so this could be something. He made his first appearance in Jungle Action Volume 2, Issue 6. He considers himself a fierce and cunning warrior, far greater than that of T'Challa. He grew up in Wakanda with the birth name Jadaka, and as a child, when Ulysses Claw invaded the country for vibranium, his family was wiped out after Claw's plans got messy. Jadaka, the sole survivor, was taken captive by Claw back to America, where he luckily escaped his grasp, but he still had no way of getting home. So he adapted. He changed his name to Eric Killmonger, moved to Harlem, earned a PhD in engineering, and became a professor at MIT. There he saw Wakanda's King T'Challa and hitched a ride back to the motherland, only he didn't intend to settle and live his days out as a peaceful resident. He took what he learned in America and planned to use it against the Black Panther back home and topple his empire.
Kasper Cole. Before Kevin Kasper Cole became the White Tiger, he was a narcotics officer. Seeking a promotion, he and a few other officers began performing unsanctioned drug busts. Kasper wore a bulletproof Black Panther costume that he took from his boss, which absolutely gave him an edge. Like when he and his other officers were ambushed by a crooked cop that resulted in the other officers being put in the ICU. Kasper was suspended for not wearing his vest, and he posed as the Black Panther for a time to bring down Sal and the 66 Bridges gang. Other than the usual benefits of a Panther habit, Kevin's suit sported a trench coat and many more pockets and pouches as he wielded actual 9mm pistols. I almost want to call it Detective Panther suit. Number 9. Hell's Kitchen. After being ambushed by Dr. Doom, who put T'Challa in a coma, another had to take up the role of Black Panther. T'Challa lost his enhanced abilities, and after the events of Doom War, he rendered all of Wakanda's vibranium inert. So, no powers, no vibranium, and no longer the ruler of Wakanda. How about a vacation to Hell's Kitchen? After being possessed by a demonic entity, Matt Murdock, Daredevil, needed time to recover and rediscover himself away from his home, and he left the defense of Hell's Kitchen to T'Challa. Enter the Black Panther Man Without Fear story. As the now depowered street-level defender of Hell's Kitchen, T'Challa had to rely on the basics, such as his body armor, homemade gadgets, and his fighting ability. This suit doesn't really display its own usefulness. I'd say that instead, it displays the usefulness and ingenuity of T'Challa himself. Stop right there, criminal scum. Kidding. You're only a criminal because you're so criminally good looking. Okay, I've given you a compliment. Now you give me one by liking and subscribing. I think this is a good trade-off. I boost your confidence. You support this channel so we don't fall into the black abyss of obscurity. Cool. Thanks. Love you guys. Number 8. Wedding suit. A bit more of an unconventional pick for a list like this. Back in 2006, during the time of the Marvel Civil War storyline, a wedding took place. A wedding between the King of Wakanda, the Black Panther, T'Challa, and the X-Men, African princess, and some people say goddess, Aurora Monroe. Storm. The event itself was built up for a few issues in the 2005 Black Panther storyline, and in issue number 18, it finally took place. In this event, T'Challa dons a more ceremonial Panther habit, a gold necklace and a gold belt, and the classic cape. This suit doesn't serve a special function in combat outside of serving as a wedding suit, but marriage is its own kind of combat, am I right? Number 7. Ghost Panther. In this alternate reality, called Warp World, the character T'Challa was merged with the character of the Ghost Rider, Johnny Blaze. And can I just say how insanely amazing of an idea this is? The arrogant Prince T'Challa is exiled from Wakanda and goes to America, taking up the show name Johnny Blaze. After a fatal accident, Jericho Simpson, which is a warp between Brother Voodoo and Crash Simpson, invokes the demon Zarathos, who is the half-sister of the Panther goddess Bast. T'Challa actually refuses to become the spirit of vengeance at first, but eventually he did. Now, while this isn't really a Panther habit, it is a Black Panther Ghost Rider who rides a giant flaming panther, and yeah, I don't know, I'm not really seeing a downside here. Number 6. proto-habit. Oh, Deadpool, you silly, amazing character. Okay. So basically, what happens here in Black Panther vs. Deadpool number 4 is that Mr. Poole heads to Wakanda to steal a bit of vibranium to help him heal a mailman. Wade actually ends up grabbing a red ceremonial Wakandan necklace and puts it on to go and make his escape. What he did not know is that this necklace was actually a prototype Panther habit. The suit analyzes his DNA, and since Black Panther has everybody's DNA on file, it remakes itself on Deadpool, adapting to his usual color scheme and the weapons he likes to use, christening himself Panther Poole. Or Dead Panther. No, Panther Poole. Panther Poole's better. It also pretty much brings him up to par with the true Black Panther, which is proven when the two get into it, until Wade's pocket-sized teleporter gets damaged and he teleports to the vibranium mine, which he then teleports to right outside New Jersey. Shuri's suit. As I said before, there was a point in time when T'Challa was attacked by the forces of Dr. Doom, putting him in a coma. The one who took up the mantle of Black Panther was his sister, Princess Shuri. Along with the powers that come with consuming the heart-shaped herb, Shuri also received a Panther habit. None of us should be surprised to know that Shuri herself, while being perfectly capable of hand-to-hand combat, prefers using weaponry and tech. This is reflected a little bit in her habit, which is a bit more tech-savvy. Her tech and weaponry include a truncheon, capable of dishing out electric shocks, shock nets, snake bites, which are pellets used to immobilize enemies by releasing knockout gas, and desert sand, which are microscopic sand-like devices that can release an EMP. The claws on Shuri's habit were made of vibranium shells encased by adamantium, which is a little overkill, but nice. She also used to carry standard Wakandan-made spears. She now appears to have Zuri's spear of Bashenga, which belonged to the founder and first king of Wakanda. Number 4. Panther battle armor. Okay, bouncing right off of that, Shuri actually dons another Panther armor during the events of Doom War that I just really want to talk about. Shuri wore a battle mech armor that further amplified her strength, endurance, and durability past its already peak human levels to superhuman levels. The battle suit also had new cool weapons like this pair of vibranium powered daggers. Some versions of this armor that the Dora Milaje wore have flight capabilities with these really sweet heli drone like packs. The battle armor also has sensory arrays that made her an even more formidable adversary. Overall, just an armor that boosts the already technologically advanced superhuman to another level. Number 3, Ngozi. Okay, so we've seen Ghost Panther and Panther Poole suits, but what about when the Black Panther is the host for a symbiote? A former track star who was in an accident that paralyzed her legs, Ngozi of Lagos, Nigeria eventually became bonded with the Venom symbiote. After Black Panther was killed by Rhino, who was trying to capture the symbiote, Ngozi and the symbiote instead defeated Rhino. Ngozi was recognized by the Dora Milaje, who took her to Wakanda, where she actually became the new temporary Black Panther. Ngozi herself now had the powers from the heart-shaped herb as well as the powers from the symbiote, so her habit was obviously a little different. Imagine the vibranium-laced armor plus a Venom symbiote suit. Why am I asking you to imagine this? It's a comic, we have pictures. Number 2. Heavenly Armor. This new thrice-blessed lightweight suit first appeared in Black Panther Volume 4, number 13, when he teamed up with Blade to fight vampires, which just the idea of that kind of sounds really cool. But this suit just makes it better. This suit has been consecrated in the name of the Panther God, and alongside the suit, he also wields the ebony blade of the Roman Catholic Church. This suit offers him other defenses and abilities than his regular suit. For example, it defends against attacks of a mystical nature. This Panther habit also allows him to fly if he reaches the right speed. It is also incredibly badass. I just wish we got to see more of it. Number 1. Wakanda Hulkbuster. Everybody knows Tony Stark has the Hulkbuster armor. Incredibly useful for taking on the Hulk if he ever loses control. But what I, and I'm sure a bunch of you didn't know, was that Black Panther has a Wakandan Hulkbuster. And boy, this armor is beautiful. It was created to go up against the new, totally awesome Hulk, Amadeus Cho. Unlike his Bruce counterpart, Amadeus Cho's Hulk is very in control, but everyone and their mums are afraid of what could happen. The Hulkbuster itself has sonic cannons, can fire spore clouds, and absorbs and magnifies energy. The armor eventually fails against Amadeus when he releases an EMP-like blast, rips the Buster's arm off, and rushes off to help his sister. But this armor very nearly brought him down, and all it takes is one story for it to be even more capable.
Starting off our list with an honorable mention at number 10, we have the Black Panther of the Marvel Zombieverse. Now, despite hailing from the universe literally called the Marvel Zombieverse, this incarnation of T'Challa is less scary himself, but more so just horrifying what winds up happening to him. After avoiding the initial outbreak of the zombie virus that managed to take out a large chunk of the world's superhuman population, T'Challa is betrayed by Hank Pym, aka Giant Man, and forced to be preserved as a food source for the former hero so that Hank can continue to focus on his research. Losing both an arm and a leg, T'Challa was only able to escape by teaming up with the zombified head of the Wasp, aka Janet Van Dyne. Coming in at number 9, we have the Black Panther of Earth 2301, aka the Marvel Mangaverse. Now, while usually the only frightening thing about manga is the amount of chapters I have to catch up on, the weirdest part of this section of the Marvel multiverse has got to be its unique take on Black Panther's powers. Rather than science or the heart-shaped herb of Wakanda, this version of T'Challa gets his powers directly from the Egyptian god Horus, and is capable of transforming into a literal Black Panther when he needs to for combat. Weirdly enough, Horus also gifts T'Challa the ability to grow a falcon's wings as well, so he might just have to argue with Sam Wilson about that if he doesn't want to get sued. Coming in at number 8, we have the Black Panther from the Ultimate Marvel Universe. In this slightly darker take on the Marvel Universe, gaining the title of Black Panther required T'Challa to literally defeat a Wakandan panther in a combat ritual, a task he was able to accomplish, but at the cost of having his throat slashed and severely injured. To save his son, T'Challa's father sent him overseas to be healed in the Weapon X program, the same torturous experiments that resulted in the Wolverine. Thus, this Black Panther has incredible healing abilities and adamantium claws, meaning that along with the vibranium of Wakanda, this version of the hero is wielding both of the most powerful metals in the Marvel Universe. Coming in at number 7, we've got to go with Cole Tiger, the son of T'Challa from the alternate future of the MC2 universe. Named T'Chaka II after his grandfather, Cole Tiger hasn't yet become the king of Wakanda, but that doesn't stop him from fighting for his people. In a twist, T'Chaka's increased strength and speed are only available to him in his panther form, in which he literally transforms into a human panther hybrid with incredibly deadly claws and fangs. Yeah, the Black Panther suit has always been at least a little bit intimidating, but getting chewed on by a super strong Panther Man seems like a bit more of a handful. Coming in at number 6, we've got Black Panther 2099. In an alternate future, the villainous Dr. Doom has invaded and completely taken over Wakanda, and the only hope lies in the hands of the Resistance and a new man who has taken up the mantle of the Black Panther, Kashamba. Using the powers of the heart-shaped herb, Kashamba at first seems to be a worthy successor to the mantle, with all of the powers that T'Challa had during his time as king. However, the dark twist at the end of this storyline reveals that even in victory, this version of Black Panther is nothing more than a pawn for Victor Von Doom, showing a defeated man sitting on the throne of Wakanda, a very horrifying sight indeed. Coming in at number 5, we've got to go with the Black Panther from Earth X. Another alternate version of the character that's a bit more cat-like than the normally human T'Challa, this version is actually permanently stuck as a panther-human hybrid, rather than just being an attack form he can change into and out of at will like the Cole Tiger could. After the Terrigen mists began to spread on Earth, many animals within Wakanda also began to grow more human in appearance, leaving the Black Panther as the leader of not only the Wakandan people, but an army of Animen that grew frustrated at their current situation. Definitely one of the weirder takes on a very iconic character. Coming in at number 4, we have the horrifying creature known as the Spider Virus Panther. During the event called Spider Island, a villain known fittingly enough as the Spider Queen used Peter Parker's DNA to create a virus that would initially just give people additional powers similar to Spider-Man, but would eventually mutate them into horrific half-arachnid, half-human beings. With multiple limbs, eyes, and a thirst for blood, this version of T'Challa with all of the powers of both the Black Panther and Spider-Man in a single terrifying form, this creature prowled the halls of the Museum of Natural History and definitely would be more frightening than anything else you'd find in that building. Coming in at number 3, we've got to go with the mashup hero of Ghost Panther. During the Infinity Warps event, which led to multiple Marvel heroes being combined together in a new universe with half as many inhabitants, Black Panther and Ghost Rider were combined together to become, you guessed it, the Ghost Panther. Adding Hellfire manipulation to Black Panther's power set would be reason enough to be scared of this version of the hero, but combined with a flaming skull head and eternally riding a fiery panther steed, and this is one Black Panther you don't want to mess with. Coming in at number 2, we have Azuri, the grandfather of the Black Panther. During the era of World War II, Wakanda was still isolated from the rest of the world and protected by Azuri, a Black Panther with the ability to raise and control the dead like a necromancer. Combined with his talent with the machete-style weapons that left him unafraid to decapitate his foes to send a message, and this version of Black Panther was an intimidating obstacle whenever Captain America briefly showed up on Wakanda's doorstep. And honestly, it's a good thing that Cap was able to keep his head. And coming in with our final slot, we've got to go with the venom-wielding Black Panther of an alternate reality, Ngozi. In a world where the original Black Panther falls in battle against the Rhino while protecting Nigeria, a track student Ngozi bonds with a symbiote in order to protect her friends. Impressing the Wakandan warriors nearby, Ngozi is taken back to their homeland and eventually earns the title of the new Black Panther, but with her own violent symbiote twist. With all the powers of both the heart-shaped herb and the venom symbiote, Ngozi is definitely a foe to fear.